Yeah. So I come from a very medical background, at least in my family. So I've had my mom's actually a nurse, and then my grandma was a registered nurse, my aunt, and then my brother actually started working at the company. And I was looking for something different, and I kind of wanted to do something a little more impactful than what I was doing before. And I ended up finding a position at independent community living. And ever since then, I've kind of just liked it and stuck with it, and I'm still here now, and I don't see me going anywhere anytime soon. So yes, actually, both of them are, believe it or not. I have a older and a younger brother who are currently doing the same thing with the same company. To be honest with you, I feel like I've always just had like a softer side for working with people. I personally get satisfaction out of helping others, and I think within the like first couple of months when I was working with Mike, I was always kind of nervous to ask him about his condition because I just never experienced anything like that. I'd never really known anyone with like cerebral palsy, and I remember having that conversation with him, and he told me that he was more comfortable if I asked, and he actually preferred me asking. And I think kind of right then and there, I kind of knew that I was supposed to be there.
It's good. It's good, and you can tell that everybody that works with me likes what they're doing. Um, just across the board, the people that I've had over the years are usually pretty good people, and I still keep in contact with a lot of them. Uh, and I like I've even been to like weddings for some of the people and stuff, and like watch their kids grow up and stuff like that. We even we even one time, one of the people that worked with me was relatively new to the area, so my parents invited them over for Thanksgiving because they had nowhere else to go.
Honestly, yeah, like just after working with somebody for so long, it's harder not to build a relationship than it is. I mean, as long as you're, enjoying what you're doing, and you even have, I guess, just decency. It's harder not to really build a relationship. And so I feel like over the almost a year now that I've worked with Mike, we've definitely, I feel like, built a very good friendship. We will talk just about kind of anything and everything, even, I mean, sometimes life advice he's given me. And so I think it's honestly just good. I kind of look at him as just like an older brother at this point now.
Well, like today, I'm gonna go out to the mall to the new candy store that just opened.
There's a new candy store at the mall?
Hmm.
It's actually St. Lawrence Brothers.
Hmm.
They're in the mall now. The entirety of ICL got to go to a baseball game.
Hmm. And then
Uh, they do that every year.
he'll teach me about baseball because I'm not too familiar with the sport. And then I'll teach him about basketball and vice versa. And we'll kind of just go back and forth on it.
Yeah, ba- baseball is really the only sport I pay attention to because I used to watch all the time with my grandparents.
So it's really dependent. I do work a morning and a night shift with him. So like the morning is making sure he has the proper assistance to use the restroom, and then asking him what he wants to wear for the day, and just kind of helping him get dressed and so forth. And then typically in the morning, we'll make him some breakfast, and then med pass, and then some lunch. And he usually likes to switch it up, so it's kind of keeps me on my toes. It's kind of helped me to learn how to cook, because before, he even said I would probably win worst cook, which I couldn't say I disagree. So, but I'd be like the typical morning. We'll get him like doing his regular physical therapy, stretching, and so forth. And then the evening is kind of similar. We'll come in, we'll take Siri out, and then we'll
And
kind
then
of just go
anything I
from
want to
there.
do for the evening too.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll usually mix it up. Like tonight, like you said, we're going to the candy
Candy store,
store.
and then
We've kind of been all over.
in about a month, curling starts up again,
Hmm.
and I taught Dallas how to play curling too.
Hmm. Beforehand, I'm gonna be honest, I had no clue what it was. Like I had
None
like
of my
a
staff did
yeah, I was gonna
until
say until he walks us through it probably the first couple of times, but I had like a vague grasp of what it was. I was like, isn't that like shuffleboard on ice? He was like, kind of, but not really. And went for the first time and completely was blown away because I did not, was not familiar with that. I personally enjoyed it. It was definitely different. It got me out of my comfort zone because I'm very much like a basketball kind of person. Like, so that's completely different. Like, I'm not a nice skater by any means, or even,
Well, the nice thing
rolling
about
in my butt.
curling is you don't skate.
That's true. I'm not used to being on the ice, I should specify. So it's like that was kind of took some getting used to, but I liked it overall. I think it was a really good time, and it was, I think, one of the first shifts I ever worked with you.
I believe it was a training shift.
Yep, I was gonna say, I think it was like the first or second, and so that was pretty fun too. It was a good, I think, experience to kind of get introduced to Mike, and I think it was in a good space to do so too.
Back in, what was that, like
June,
June?
June like 13th, I think.
Around June every year ICL goes. Uh, but Independent Community Living goes to a Tigers game every year because they have a connection with the Tigers Foundation.
It's definitely hot that day, but it was fun. It was my first time ever going
Had
to
remember
Comerica
the
Park,
sunscreen.
so yeah, I was gonna say that is true. A lot of sunscreen that day. At Comerica Park, it was definitely an eye-opening experience watching the Tigers play. It was very different. It was a good experience overall, I'd have to say. Definitely got me to appreciate baseball that much more. It's kind of just nice when everyone gets together, and they'll do stuff like that regularly. Like even just recently, they had a movie night for ICL, or Independent Community Living, where we all got together and we all watched the new Beetlejuice movie with just a ton of different participants and their staff, and that was pretty cool too because you get to see, like Mike had said, people you don't normally get to see all the time.
Yeah, look, I liked it quite a lot. I would give it a solid 10. I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. Uh, but, yep. And then they they also do like they've done like arts and crafts activities too. And last year they did a trunk or treat booth like at their actual office because the Downtown Business Association for Midland was doing a trunk or treat. And so they were one of the participating businesses. So we got to dress up in costume and hand out candy to kids and stuff.
I would say to somebody considering a career here that it is very rewarding. I mean, you can't beat the feeling of genuinely feeling like you're making an impact on somebody's life and just seeing what like little things even can do to make their lives just so much more manageable and tolerable and to help them live their best life is it's a really good feeling overall. I was gonna say you definitely get the sense of just kind of gratitude every night you come home. At least I do. I think it's definitely a career worth looking to get into, and I think it's a necessity that the community just needs in general. I would like to think that direct care work is just, I think, just a necessity in general. I think by helping to take care of others, you can honestly better take care of yourself as well. Like Mike has essentially taught me how to cook, and beforehand, I was a little worried about that because I probably could burn
You're not the only
water.
person I've taught how to cook either.
Yeah, and so I think that's it's just a good life skill to have, and I think everything you learn here is just a valuable life skill, not even
Well, and
profession dependent.
you're helping the people you work with build skills sometimes too. So there's that.
100%. I was gonna say you can kind of build off of each other. I think it's just a very good symbiotic relationship.
We just figure out a way to get a pay hike because it's important, necessary work. And it it needs it needs to get done, and if nobody does it, I can't live my life the way I want to. Also, it could happen. Anyone could need support at any time. So, because you never know what could happen. Even if it's like an elderly family member or a child, a lot of times. Because a lot of people that I know have had support since they were children, too. With different supports and stuff.
I definitely would say I have to agree with Mike. The big message I would give to the legislators is if you have any loved ones, there's a possibility. I mean, that's just life that could happen to them. And I think this is a very necessary job. And I think with even a small price increase, that it would definitely be more attractive to more people. And so therefore you could get more people doing something not only great for their community, but just great for mankind in general. I think that the fact that most other wages in Michigan have increased while the DSP has not definitely is something that needs to be addressed as well. I think it's equally as important or more as important as other roles within society, yet there is no increase there in the wages. A DSP is a direct support professional. We get referred to as kind of, can get confusing because a lot of different things. There's DCGs, which is direct caregiver. Caregiver is another synonym with direct support professional. They all essentially mean the same thing. They just kind of have multiple different names as time has passed. They've kind of just adopted a couple different names. And then along with those, direct care workers is actually another one, or DCWs.
But and unless you know someone who needs support, you don't often know that this kind of job even exists. People with disabilities are actually the largest minority group in the United States.
I guess it's not more so of a question, but I would just like to mention that there's this common misconception that those with disabilities can't live any type of regular life and that their whole life is irregular and it's this long, tumultuous thing, but it's not true. I mean, Mike himself has been to the Renaissance Festival, he's been to Tigers games, he's just like everyone else, and that's, I guess, the misconception I want to clear up. He can have fun like everyone else. He can.
People are really surprised to find out I do curling, if they even know what it is.
Curling is, if I had to describe it in 3 words, I'd probably put challenging, I'd put fun, and I'd put unique as my top 3. It's definitely a different experience. You kind of have to get used to it, but once you do, I think it's very fun. It's definitely out of the usual realm of like, your football, basketball, soccer, and so forth. If I had to describe Mike in 3 words, I'd probably put fun, I'd put intelligent, and interesting.
It's a necessary, important job that I feel like doesn't get the respect it should. I hope that change is coming soon. And it does start the respect that it deserves. There's a lot to doing this kind of work that anybody could learn how to do it, but not everybody could do it. It takes special people to do this job. You really need to care about people. Because anybody could learn how to do this job, but not everybody is cut out because you really have to care about people. It puts my parents' mind at ease too, because they know, like, if something happens to them, I have a setup that if they're not going to be around anymore, they know that I have a setup that I'll be able to live on my own independent and stuff like that.
This relationship, I guess I would have to say, brings to me just like overall friendship. And just like I said, it's just like having an older brother. Like it's just like it's not when I have to go into work, it's not like, oh, I have to go into work. It's like, oh, I have to go into work. It's like it's more of a like a pleasant thing. Like I actually enjoy being here. I like, seeing what he's doing, or sometimes he'll, show me something funny he finds, or we'll talk about a new movie coming out, or we'll talk about just kind of anything. It's just really it's really it's comfortable being here.
I've had supports for nearly 20 years. So I I know the ins and outs of the system too. And it's been interesting to watch the changes, some good, some bad. Just to reiterate again that this is an important, necessary job. Because it really does help with my quality of life. And I know it helps other people too.
It really is a huge thing that if you're able to, help them perform things that may be a little difficult for them, it really is just means the world to them. And it's really not anything that's, overtly, some people just have different needs. And when you're able to help them with those needs, it's really, really rewarding. And honestly, everyone deserves a good quality of life. Should be a universal right.